All right, 88 Shade 45. It is the All Out Show. Lord Sear on it down, man. Got 1-9 and Erik Parker in the building. Time is Illmatic. What up, man?
What's up? Thank you for having us here.
Thank you for coming through, man. Definitely, man. Where'd you get the idea to film this movie right here, man?
I think back in 2004, I was the music editor at Vibe magazine.
Yeah.
And we were working on editing a story on the 10-year anniversary of Illmatic. You know, so that was, you know, you can imagine. So that at that time, it was really just about the music. At that time, still, everybody was just talking about how great the music was. So me, 1-9, and a bunch of friends outside of the magazine, outside of the pages, we decided to get together and just start shooting what we thought would be a DVD that would be finished the same year in 2004. But little did we know it would take much longer.
Now, as far as production, is there like music from the album of other joints, like other is there unreleased music in the movie?
It's 1-9. No, I mean, for the most part, it is Illmatic, but it's told through the lens of Nas, Jungle, his brother Jungle, his father Oludara. It's told through the lens of all the producers who were in the film, who had a part of it: Premier, Pete Rock, Large Pro, of course, Q-Tip, AZ. But really, we look at the issues. What we did in the movie was really break down the back of the album cover, really break down the song titles. New York State of Mind looks at the history of Queensbridge houses. Life's a Bitch looked at the history of the family being torn apart and how that affected the Joneses. One Love looks at the prison system and looks at Nas's friends all being either locked up or missing or dead. And we look at issues really and how that related to young Nas growing up in Queensbridge.
Queensbridge is like one of the meccas as far as mad MCs came from the bridge.
That's right.
A lot of MCs is from the bridge.
Yeah.
Like, shit.
We take it back actually too with Marley Marls in the film.
Right. Did he have a do-rag on? Yes, he did. Shout out to Marley. What up, brother?
We have shout out to Roxanne Shante, who's in the film as well.
Shante, yeah.
You know, it's crazy too. We also interviewed mad people that didn't actually make the film, but they'll be in the DVD. This always happens, as you know. But Jappy Jap from Queensbridge, you hear MC Shan shouting them out in the song "The Bridge." We interviewed Dr. Bob Lee. You know, there's a bunch of people we talked to who made Queensbridge music and pioneered Queensbridge music in the time. Some of them we couldn't get into the film because of the story we were telling. But yeah, it goes deep. Queensbridge goes deep.
That's what we got. Danny Reef. What's up, Reef?
Yeah,
Reef.
I was fortunate enough to see the screening last night. Yeah, and I mean, obviously, incredible job. It's a must see.
Thank you
for everybody, without question. Without giving anything too much away, you guys had incredible footage of like some early Nas performance stuff, Nas growing up. You had Biz and Roxanne Shante, like some really incredible stuff I've never seen before. Talk about the process of just kind of obtaining all that stuff and how it, how you worked it in.
Well, we gotta shout out the pioneers of the people who started really videotaping back then, the Ralph McDaniels, who really was just an enormous
shouts to Ralph.
Ralph is great. Love Ralph, man. He really came forth. He has so much footage, but he's also, he was also welcoming to the project. So many people had footage that we've never even knew existed. Some Jay Supreme, shout out to Jay Supreme from Queensbridge, who called us up and said, I have old karaoke video of Nas and Ill Will from a mall.
Yeah. And there's
no one's seen that.
There's also like Nas in the Hood footage that I've never seen before and looked, just super legit, and it worked right into the story that you guys were telling.
A lot of that footage, that was one of the blessings for us when people heard that we were making this film. Again, we've been making it on and off for the last 10 years. So a lot of people heard about it before. We even talked to you before, Reef.
Yeah, I know. Right. But I didn't make the cut, obviously.
But so you could talk about how important Illmatic was, but people who know Illmatic, they know how much it represents. He didn't just speak to us, he spoke for us in a big way with Illmatic. And we wanted to make sure we conveyed that. So we had to make sure we took it back to the roots, showed him in the original time with that archival footage. And we you know, people were really forthcoming. They were like, you know, I had this piece, this gem no one's seen. You should check it out. People want to tell that story.
Because there were a lot of people in that particular audience that this was like hip hop 101. Like this is some real like tutorial for those that didn't know. And obviously for those that do will really, you know, just like appreciate it. But it provides an incredible backdrop for what the whole, you know, the whole story is.
I'm glad you point that out, because one thing we really want to do with the film is not just put it in theaters or, you know, have it out there for the typical film audience, but, you know, our associate producer and education pioneer, Martha Diaz, is putting the film into school systems. So a younger generation can see, you know, learn more about the culture, the history from a first-hand perspective. So the film will live, you know, Illmatic will live in schools. You know, that's
right. And you're not doing like the typical like roll it out to you know, art houses or whatever. Like the rollout is different.
Yeah, well, it opens. If you're in New York and LA right now, you can go see the film. If it's not sold out, because it opened in LA and New York today at the AMC Empire 25 here in New York.
Whoop, Harlem.
And it's going to be
that's the one on 40.
No, it's right. It's right. No, it's right in Times Square.
Right,
yeah,
right,
42nd. Absolutely. So it's going to.
I was thinking Magic Johnson.
But you know, and tomorrow is going to be a wide one day only release that's going to go to many cities across the country.
We did giveaways, as a matter of fact.
Absolutely.
To like 15 different markets.
Yeah, it's going to be huge. And then after that, on Friday, it'll be on demand and on iTunes. So people can check it out at home. Not Netflix, but iTunes and on demand on Friday.
But here's a kicker. Nas is taking the film with him around the country, and he's performing the whole
he's going
entire
on tour
Illmatic album with the film in select cities.
And you can go online to see the dates to see if it comes to a city near you.
Yeah, so there's a lot of ways that you can watch and get access to this film, because really when we made it, we didn't just make it for just hip hop heads. You know, while we definitely wanted to make sure we told that story honestly. I mean, Reef, you were there with Illmatic when it came out. You know, you were very close to it.
Yes.
So we wanted to make sure we told it honestly for us.
I didn't make the cut, guys.
Reef, come on.
Hello, Eric. Hello.
Yo, check this out. We just tuned in, man. It's the All Out Show with Lord Sear. Speaking to the homies, Erik Parker, 1-988 Shade 45. Want to play some music? Come right back. Let's see some callers. Let's do it. Let's come right back. Talk to us, man. Right here.
Shout out to Tribeca Films.
Yes, sir.
Time is Illmatic. What is the meaning behind the title of the movie?
Well, you know what? I let 19 actually came up with the title of that movie. So,
Man,
you know, we sat around and kicked around ideas, and he said, looking through lyrics, and he said, time is Illmatic.
Yeah, you know, we really, it was a point we didn't know what to call it. We were thinking about the bridge, calling it just the bridge, like bridging generations, bridging gaps, the bridge, the song. I mean, that was on the table, but it wasn't quite it. You know, Illmatic was something that really needed to be in the title. So, you know, we went through Life's a Bitch. We looked at it. I was like, you know what? Our film spans generations. The time is Illmatic. So we chopped it up and basically went with that.
What was it like meeting Nas while doing the movie and hanging out with him, recording with him, like, hey, yo, what up? 'Cause, you know, I was like, hey, yo, guys, yo.
I mean, he's kind of elusive, media elusive anyways.
Yeah.
You gotta
You know,
remember,
what did it take to get him to kind of really like come aboard?
When we first started, we were two people that just really decided to just do this on our own. He didn't even know who we were. So we just basically we shot some interviews with his father. Eric, you could tell that story of how we started with the vibe and everything.
Oh yeah, we talked about that, right?
Yeah,
earlier.
man.
Yeah,
But his father was one of our early interviews, Oludara, and it was great. It was amazing.
So basically, we took that Oludara interview, Pete Rock, Premier, maybe about 3 others, and just cut up a rough trailer and sent it to his manager and said, you know, we have an idea. We want to do an Illmatic DVD. Any thoughts? He's like, come meet me for dinner. You know, meet me at Houston's at that time. And so we go over there, and then we're like, you know, it's like an hour goes by. We're still there. No one's showing up. And he finally shows up with Nas. And, you know, it's our first time meeting. He didn't even know what we were doing, you know, at the time. It was a pitch, basically. So we said, we have an idea. Let's make an Illmatic movie. And at the time, it was really just going to be about the music. But he sat down, he looked at it, and he said, keep going with it. Didn't give any firm commitment, though. And so really, we never really had a firm commitment over the course of a couple years. and we just picked it up and put it down, and we finally were able to fortunately get a grant from the Ford Foundation. And they came to us and said, you know, we like what you're doing, here's a research grant. And we came back to Nas and said we need to finish this up, so we sent him some more stuff, and he looked at it, and it was just an amazing. He saw what we were doing. He saw that it was coming from within hip hop, and he felt our connection to it, a bond. And he said, you know, you guys are making art. Let's keep going.
Now, how long did it take you to make this movie?
Man, we started in 2004, but you know, honestly, we shot really hard in 2004 to 2006, and then we started.
I didn't get the call. Go
And then we started trying to figure out what to do with it. We didn't have any more money. You know, we all had jobs. We all were doing different things. But it took us 10-year span. But in reality, it was a blessing for us. One, we got Nas's full attention because he came into our studio one day. This is the story that really turned it all around. This was only a few years ago when we shot him once, and then he was still a little bit elusive. And then he came into our studio. His manager said, he got 20 minutes. You know, show him what you got. And we took him down the road with all the footage that we had, every piece that we had, little bits of stuff that we cut together. And Nas was like, and 2 hours later, he was like, yo, show me more. You got more? And then another hour later, he's like calling Jungle. And we couldn't, mind you, no one can find Jungle. You can never get Jungle in front of a camera. You know, he's very elusive. He'll be like, meet me here, and he won't be there. Jungle shows up 5 minutes later. Another hour, we're still shooting video. It was amazing. From that moment on, he was like, you guys, I like the vision that you guys have. I see what you guys are doing. Let's do it.
That's hot. 88 Shade 45. We got any calls, Sam? Speak to some callers in a minute. What up, Reef? Why you wasn't in the movie, man?
I don't know. I'm really gonna have to talk.
Why I wasn't in the movie? Why Bob wasn't in the movie?
Well, at least Bob got filmed. You know, there's obviously hundreds and hundreds of hours of footage, I would imagine.
Well, not hundreds, but it's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot more than one man wanted to look through in a week.
So there is a DVD that'll be forthcoming.
Yes.
And talk about like the bonus footage.
Yeah, we actually just finished cutting the bonus footage up. It's for Illmatic heads, people that love, you know, the nuances of what went down in the studio. We have it's a breakdown pretty much of every track from Nas's perspective, from every producer's perspective. Pete Rock, Premier, AZ, Large Pro, LES, Q-Tip. And they all talk about every track that they worked on, what it was like in that studio during that time period. So you will be able to get that as well. One thing we're also doing as well as the education program is all this archive footage will be available at the Schomburg in 2015 in Harlem. We're making that accessible.
Harlem. Do you have the footage on there when they first were all in the studio? Remember when Tip and Preem and all in it?
That was from the EPK.
Yeah.
That was from the original EPK.
That was a Ralph McDaniels moment.
Yeah,
that's in there. That's in there. And
that's hot. That's hot.
I mean, one of the highlights in the film was seeing Live at the Barbecue performance, and it must have been 91.
That performance right there was the very first performance that Ralph McDaniels gave us. That he said that's the first time Nas hit the stage with them. So that was amazing to see. I remember the moment we looked at that. I was like, oh, shit,
and obviously shouts to everybody, Large Pro, Akinelli, Joe Fado.
Shout out to Joe Fado. He got a bar now. He's doing his thing.
Does he have a bar? That's great.
That's
great.
Yeah, I'm in Brooklyn. He's doing his thing.
Big Horse was on stage too.
Big Horse, Little Horse.
Yeah, then you look behind him. There was Wiz is always in the picture too. You see Jungle's always in the picture. You see Wiz in the picture. And now when you look at the film that says, because we watch so much footage, you start to identify all the people that you see around him all the time.
I think Jungle has a future as a stand-up comedian, possibly.
Jungle could do anything he wants, man. He's amazing.
He's like the comic relief of the movie, sort of.
It's crazy
because he's very blunt.
When we spoke to Jungle, we had no idea what we were gonna get, but we knew it was gonna be raw. And he spoke from the heart. He spoke direct, and he spoke in a way that it connects to your guts, your emotion. One thing we're doing also is we're going to bring the film to the prison systems. And Jungle said, let me come with you. Let me come with you. Let me talk about my experiences with this. So shout out to Jung for that. It's a lot. It's important.
That's what's up. Let's go to phone lines. 888-742-3345. Live on the All Out Show. Hello?
We got Jason in Denver.
What up, Jay?
What up, Jay?
Old Jason?
In Denver.
Hello.
Hi.
What's going on?
Cool. You're live.
I'm just I'm just showing y'all love, man. I'm just really, really happy that y'all preserving this dude, man, in this documentary.
Thank you, man. This is
thank
for
you.
our culture, really.
Yeah.
But we're not
Exactly. We need it.
And be honest, Jason, I think one of our main points in this film is not to just preserve Nas, but to preserve us all. You know, because Nas actually speaks for us in many ways with Illmatic, and this film tries to make those dots connect.
Much appreciated. I'm gonna see it on October 12th out in Denver.
Oh,
doing the documentary and the performance. So I'm just
That's
excited.
that's a moment. Document, capture that, because that's rare. 20 years beyond. That's crazy.
Definitely. Thank you.
All right,
Thank you, man.
Sound like about to cry.
All right.
All right.
We got Albert in Pittsburgh.
Al, what up?
What's up, sir?
What up?
I want to ask him a question.
What's good?
Go ahead, man.
Is the movie going to include all aspects of Nas's life?
No, it will include mostly. It's really all about Illmatic and what came before Illmatic. We wanted to focus on that part of the story, really, just to tell that history, because it is so important. It's really not just about Illmatic. It actually goes beyond, back to his father's generation, goes back to Natchez, Mississippi, and we look at it's a generational story. So it spans from the 1930s when his father was born in Natchez, and at this very same time, the first cornerstone was laid down in Queensbridge. So we look at that history, and we move it all the way up through the drug invasion, Reaganomics, the crack era, and everything that really went into what inspired Nas as a young, storyteller, young artist. So we stop in 94, but it also brings a little bit of Nas up to where he is right now.
We fast forward a little bit. We fast forward to the end, but we don't cover his entire life.
That should be the next.
Sounds like a great watch.
Thank you.
All right. Any more calls, Sam?
Any women callers?
No, there's no women callers. We have Philip in Long Island.
Hey, hi, Philip.
Hey, big fan of the show. I just want to know, while you're working with Nas, is there any advice he gave you about just life or anything in general that you really value and take away from working with him?
Good question.
I think, just working with Nas, the one thing Large Professor said about Nas in one of the clips that didn't make the film, he said, Nas is a blessing to the world. And he meant that in a way because he's a very sincere person. He doesn't beat you over the head with his own viewpoint as much as he does try to live by example and be humble and try to make sure that the way that he's feeling or seeing is authentic, and the way he expresses himself is authentic and humble in the best way. And for somebody to achieve what he's achieved, to watch him, still deal with people, on the street, still deal with everybody with what appears to be equality, that's humbling, and that's what you learn from him by his actions. That's what I learned from him by his actions as opposed to things he says.
That's awesome. Real quick, what's your favorite Nas song?
One Love. Without a doubt.
Thank you.
Me too.
Bye.
Okay. 8-8-Shade-45, man. Yo, big shouts to 19 Erik Parker for coming through. Where can he buy the tickets, man, for the movie?
You can go to tribecafilm.com/Nas, and it breaks down where the film will be across the country and where it'll be available online, on demand, in iTunes.
Are they going to be freestyling outside the movie theater with the boom boxes?
Let's
Bringing
do
it to
it.
like 93, 94.
New York, the film is going on right now.
Okay.
Come out tonight. Bring everything. Let's go back.
box.
Let's go back.
Don't bring
in time.
everything.
Let us let us know how you think.
Queensbridge, let's go.
Let us know how you think with hashtag Time is Illmatic. And if you want more information about the film too, you can go to timeisillmatic.com.
A quick question for you guys. 10 years of work, and it's now done. Now what?
Sheesh, this isn't done yet. That's the thing.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
you're
Well,
going to be
what I'm-
promoting it, obviously.
Yeah, but not just.
I'll tell you what, more immediately, the education curriculum comes out in schools. And that's going to be a big part. We're going on a tour with different colleges, universities, and we're also going to be teaching a course at NYU on the making of Time is Illmatic. But it's not just on the film. It's how you can take your project from guerrilla mode, from zero cash, from nothing, to make it into something. So people will be coming through from the film, funders, so forth. So we're hoping that to really inspire other people to tell their story, their generational story.
All right, that's what's up. 8-8-Shade-45. Yo, brothers.
Yo.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you
through,
for
man.
having us, and
family.
thank you for doing what y'all do every day.
Yes, thank you for
Keeping it
not having me in
alive.
the movie. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bob gets the interview. And,
Oh, man.
Wow.